Hello everyone and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today you can see me playing once more, and I'm in the Arkansas beta, the Tier 4 premium US battleship. This ship was a reward for all people who participated in the beta test in World of Warships. And here I'm firing my first shots, and I even got some hits at the Izukasa. Now this is a tier 4 battle on the map Strait, and it's a standard battle. So this is pretty much best matchmaking you can hope for in this ship. Also there is no carrier, because this ship has no anti-air, like zero. And here we can see an enemy Miyogi who is, well, stranded there in front of me, but because, well, this is Lowtier, this ship doesn't have a lot of range. So yeah, I can't fire at this Miyogi yet. Which is kind of frustrating because he is showing perfect broadside and this would be so juicy. And now when I'm in range, there is exactly like the peak of this island in the way. But very soon I'll get a few shots off. And this guy isn't doing a great job in moving out of there. Now this is obviously a low-tier battle. And in low tiers you shouldn't expect to see all that much tactic or skilled play. Then again, sometimes you don't see that in higher tier battles either. But from time to time it can be a lot of fun to enjoy a low tier battle. The metagame is a lot differently and it's much more aggressive YOLO style of gameplay, I'd say. I'm still trying to get some shots at this Miyogi. I mean, I got decent hits the last time. Now, not as effective. Low-tier battleships are horribly inaccurate, which is good, because that's an important balancing factor, I'd say. So, while you do see a lot of people selling broadside on in low tiers, battleships have a hard time punishing them, because often the shots just aren't going where you'd want them to. Now, let's talk a little bit about this map. Basically, your team spawn is split. You have here, in our case, in the north, the defensive force, and in the south, the attacking force. There are two ways you can play this. The attackers can just attack the enemy camp, and your defenders basically defend the camp, or you can try to reunite your team. If you want to reunite your team, obviously the attackers go help out the defenders, because you can't just leave your base open. If all of your ships from the north, you would go south, and yes, I've seen that happen. Then you just lose, basically. But it looks like this time our attackers here are reuniting with us, so we have probably a big blob of friendly ships around here. We shouldn't be too aggressive here, because our reinforcements here are still incoming. Unfortunately, they are chased by destroyers, I would seem. And I'm not so confident in those low-tier battleships avoiding torpedoes. Now it also looks like the enemy team had the same idea. They have their attackers basically rejoining the defending force. And this might just end up in a massive brawl in the center. Now, there's a lot of broadside going on, but as I said before, like, low-tier battleships are horribly inaccurate, and like 10-11 kilometers is, for some ships, already the maximum range. And I try to get some shots in. Also, I have to give a lot of broadside myself if I want to use all my guns, which is... I mean, basically, currently, I'm in a situation where I don't really want to push into all those guys, because there is a lot of enemies. And a lot of our support, I feel like, still hasn't arrived here. So just pushing in blindly is probably not the right idea. Also, they have destroyers here, so probably torpedoes incoming. I also can't really sail away from those guys because, well, I don't have the range. And I really don't want to abandon my fleet here. So I'm not directly pushing in, I'm sailing in not an ideal angle, but I'm still somewhat angled against most of those ships, and they aren't very interested in me anyway, currently. There are much more juicy targets to shoot at. And I got myself to Wyoming. Now there are torpedoes incoming, which isn't too surprising. We knew there were destroyers. I should have probably done a better job at maneuvering and changing my speed here. But I only take one. And Usually when you see torpedoes coming, you want to turn into them, but my plan here is to turn a little bit more away of those. I could have tried to go for the smoke, but there are some torpedoes here blocking my path, and it looks like my cruisers find some cover over there, so a lot of enemy fire will shift towards me, so I'm positioning myself in a way where I can retreat in cover. I'm still hoping the friendly battleships here will arrive at some point, but they are being chased down by an Isokaze. And what have we have here? Low health Phoenix, although the Phoenix is maneuvering, so none of my shells hit, and I'm taking quite a bit of damage here, so it's about time that I get out of here. Now this Lowtier battleship here isn't very fast and it doesn't really like to turn, so yeah, it's not very maneuverable. I have a hard time watching things with that, and I have no idea what this Kuma is doing. I mean, he is in open water, he is sailing backwards and he is showing full broadside. I mean, if he were at least sailing forward, I could understand that, but the backward is really interesting. But you know, my guns didn't disappoint this once. And let's see, maybe I can get that Phoenix. Also, maybe I can run myself into ground. Let's hope not. And yes, I got the Phoenix. I should... yeah, those torpedoes ran out. And now I'm trying to squeeze here a bit away behind this island. Now we are a little bit behind, but it's still a pretty equal battle so far. And you know, I still have a lot of heals left. You don't want to sink in your battleship with heal charges left if possible. When you are at low health, you want to retreat a little bit, find some cover, heal up, and then rejoin the fight. Now, as a battleship, you want to be in the front line and you want to be taking damage, but you don't want to sink needlessly. And you know, it's turning a little bit at right here. Now, right side is this Wyoming has almost reached us, and I'm still here with my division mates. But yeah, we are one ship behind. And my health are getting kind of low. Now, the bright side, we have here enemy battleships who aren't all that aggressive either. Those enemy battleships would be leading the charge here behind this Campbell town, then we would be in a lot of trouble. But they are confident and sitting in their back, and that works nicely for us. Now that Campbell town here just got a big hit and got taken out by my division mate, which is pretty nice, cause those torpedoes would have been nasty. Now we currently can't see the enemy battleships, probably because of the smoke. Might also be that there is some incoming fire, so looks like there is a battleship behind the island. And my health are getting pretty low. There is still about 1 minute left until my next heal. Now I could try to silence my guns here and try to drop back into stealth, but I'm hoping to get some shots at the St. Louis. I'm also hoping that this island might help. And since we aren't seeing the enemy battleships, they're probably, or hopefully far enough away that they are very inaccurate. Now meanwhile, my team took care of the destroyer who was in the friendly cap zone, which is pretty important for us. Now we can focus on the enemies in front of us. We also have a full health Wyoming here, and okay, maybe he will take a torpedo hit, but he should still be pretty healthy. And yeah, he only took 1 hit. So with that Wyoming and me, we can push in. We also have still a destroyer left and a Yubari. Now a Yubari is not a very good ship in my opinion. It's basically a paper ship with little hit points. It's like a destroyer with a citadel. The Yubari has a horrible torpedo arc, not a lot of guns. What the Yubari has going for her is that she has defensive fire, which is completely useless when there's no carrier. And she has very accurate guns because she can mount a special module. So basically rail guns. But still, I mean, she just doesn't have a lot of guns. Now it looks like this St. Louis managed to get herself behind an island. If she can keep lobbing shells over there, it will be rather awkward because I don't think I can hit her. And the enemy still has 2 very healthy battleships, and they are Germans, which makes them rather dangerous. And it looks like that Nassau is confident in showing her broadside. That's good for us, bad for him. Now pretty soon I'll be able to use my last heal, so that's great news. Also my damage control is ready, so if that St. Louis managed to set me on fire, I still have some defenses for that. And well, getting a turret damaged is a little bit unlucky here. Now here is where my division mate comes in and provides me with some smoke, because well, unfortunately the second Wyoming we have in the team decided to sail away, and the way he is going, he's probably not even able to help with his guns. And so I'll have to take the damage of the 3 remaining enemy ships. Thanks to from friendly smoke, that should work out fine. Fortunately, I'm afraid my friendly destroyer here is, well, too close to the Nassau, and well, and Nassau has some mean secondaries. Hey, the St. Louis sailed too far, and I got lucky with my dispersion. So that's great news. This Nassau is also just taking 2 torpedoes unnecessarily. That's also great news. And fun fact, the Yubari actually got the kill with a fire. So that only leaves the enemy Kaiser. And now we are 3 against 1. This should be an easy win. Although, I mean, he's full health Kaiser and we aren't... Well, the Yubari is healthy, but the Yubari is always just 1 salvo away from sinking even with full health, because it's a Yubari. Yubari can be a fun ship though, don't get me wrong. I just don't think it's a very strong one. But I do have some fun rounds in her on occasion. Now I'll just face that Kaiser and go full speed ahead. That Kaiser is also a potential Kraken for me. But I really can't afford to take a lot of hits here. If that Kaiser switches to a high explosive, I'm probably pretty doomed. So let's hope he won't do that. And well, with my nose pointing at him, I should be able to bounce a few shells. Now, since there isn't that much happening at this point, I'll also have some, I guess, bad news. In his latest video, Chamin, the guy who runs WoWReplays, announced that he plans to shut down his website. Now, while I still hope that he will decide otherwise, on the 7th of April, he said he's planning to take the website down. Which means I will now provide also an email address from now on where you can send me replays, or you can upload them to some other site or to Dropbox and send me a link there. But basically I just have created an email account where you can send me replays. And if he takes his website down, be advised that if you have replays up there for storage, might wanna download them again. But anyway, I'll keep obviously checking WoWReplays as long as it's up, and I sincerely hope he changes his mind about it. Now, while I have told you that, I have managed to get pretty close towards that Kaiser. Now that Kaiser doesn't want to ram me, but I want to ram him, so he is now trying to get out of here, and hey, my secondaries even scored a fire. That's nice. Now I'm not giving in to temptation in trying anything fancy with my rear guns. The angles on my rear guns are horrible for shooting a target in front of me. Although I guess maybe I could swing around and try, but my health are so low. And this Kaiser is sailing right into an island. And hey, I got another fire, but it looks like his damage control is currently running. And I've lost the front turret, but he is outmaneuvering himself here with this island. And Kraken, here I come. And here we are with the results. I managed to get 1651 base experience, and it was a very successful battle for me. Now, obviously, it was low tier, the enemies weren't that experienced, and that's why it's called seal clubbing. But from time to time, it's fun to jump back in low tiers, especially if if you get bored with the high tier metagame and a lot of camping. In the lower tiers, you can have a little bit more action at times. Although I mostly prefer to play mid-tiers myself, to be honest. So I achieved Confederate Kraken, Devastating Strike and High Caliber, and I scored 147,000 points of damage in a tier 4 battle. Yep, that was very successful. I hope you enjoyed watching some low tier madness. And I'll see you guys next time.